Viola Bennet. Chapter 5. Waves of Summer. Elias's team on Santa Catalina Island had never had a vacation quite like this since the lab launched its Mars detection project. It was a rare, relaxed, and joyful break from their demanding work. To avoid burdening André, the team split tasks. A few cleaned the villa, some went into town for supplies, and others stayed behind to cook. Elias and David took the small boat into town to fetch groceries and daily necessities, enjoying the sun and sea breeze along the way. David, now Elias's assistant and closest partner at the institute, had actually known him for years, but their friendship had truly solidified later during their reunion at university.
Last night we drank too much. I barely remember how I got back to the room. But it was amazing, felt so good.
David said, staring at the beach from the boat.
Yeah, wonderful night.
Elias replied.
Elias, Nicole's got feelings for you, you know?
David asked casually, smirking as if it were no big deal.
Maybe it's just her imagination.
Elias said with a shrug. Elias didn't notice David's sigh.
You know, Elias, I often wonder why every girl I like always falls for you first. What? Every?
Elias raised an eyebrow.
Yeah, well, twice, to be exact. The last time was in the Netherlands, remember? Oh my God, the time you almost decked me.
Elias chuckled, but quickly sobered. He still remembered that moment. The memory lingered sweetly and painfully. If he hadn't screwed up back then, his relationship with Viola might have taken a completely different course. It was the summer he turned 17, just before leaving Germany with his family. Alongside Lisa, Malik, Elias and Viola had spent the vacation at a sailing camp in the Netherlands. There, they learned sailing techniques, knot tying navigation, reading the wind, steering, raising and lowering sails, and even maritime safety. Each exercise pushed both their skills and stamina to the next level. David, a bright, energetic IT enthusiast from America, always stood out. He was quick-minded and fast-handed, immediately executing every instruction. But what unnerved Elias most was David's constant effort to be near Viola, lingering just a heartbeat too close. During a knot-tying exercise, meant to be done independently, David sidled up to Viola with a "let me help you" smile.
This knot is tricky. I'll show you,
he said, his hands brushing hers as he guided her movements. Viola laughed nervously.
Thanks, I think I've almost got it.
But she didn't fully pull away from his touch. Elias stood nearby, unable to stop himself from interjecting.
Viola is actually a fast learner. She doesn't need any assistance.
His tone was casual, even light-hearted, but beneath it, Elias's hands gripped the rope so tightly his knuckles turned white, betraying the tension he tried to hide. Later, during a pair steering exercise, David quickly said,
Viola, you and me, let's pair up.
Viola hesitated a beat but agreed. Elias walked over, a sharp pang of jealousy tightening his chest as his blue eyes sought hers. Viola blinked and smiled, oblivious to his inner turmoil, leaving him with nothing but a quiet shake of his head in reluctant resignation. The final night of the camp culminated in a huge graduation party at the beachside club. Food and drinks flowed freely, and the music and lights were dizzying. Lisa and Malik, who had officially started dating, were already deep in the throbbing dance floor, occasionally exchanging sweet public kisses. Robin and the others were jumping with the crowd, laughing. Elias, however, couldn't take his eyes off Viola. When a few classmates including David pulled her onto the dance floor, Elias couldn't take it any longer. He moved toward her and whispered in her ear.
Want to go for a walk? It's too loud in here.
Sensing the sudden dip in his mood, Viola looked at him with concern and willingly followed him out of the clamorous club. They bypassed the crowds and walked onto the silent beach. The cool night air, carrying the deep scent of the sea, washed away the echoes of the music. After walking for a while, they sat down side by side on the damp sand. The sky stretched in deep velvet blue above them, the Milky Way arcing like a silver ribbon across the heavens.
You've seemed a little off these past few days,
Viola said gently, her voice full of genuine concern.
No, not at all. Maybe just tired.
Elias mumbled, staring straight ahead.
Tired? The tennis club's golden boy, tired?
Viola challenged, a hint of playful disbelief in her voice.
Yeah, but I can't explain it, even to myself.
Elias pointed to a cluster of bright stars in the northern sky.
Look up there, that band of light is the Milky Way. See those two extremely bright stars on either side?
Oh yes. They're shining, they're flickering.
Viola whispered.
They are called Altair and Vega. In ancient Eastern legend, Altair is a cowherd and Vega is a beautiful goddess. They fell in love and married, but the gods were furious for some reason and separated them with the vast river of the Milky Way. They stare at each other every day, yearning, hoping the other can feel their love.
Elias' voice was a little melancholy, and Viola listened quietly. He went on, his gaze drifting toward the horizon.
Their devotion moved a flock of magpies, who fly together once a year, to form a temporary bridge so they can meet.
Viola watched Elias as he told the story, a shadow of thought crossing his face, and somehow, that only made him more charming.
The story says that true lovers will always find a way to be together. People are moved because no matter the distance, even if they only meet once a year, their love endures.
Wow, that's a beautiful romantic story.
Viola breathed, her eyes shimmering with wonder, her chest fluttering softly as she listened. Elias looked back at her, his gaze intense. For a moment, he said nothing, the hush between them filled only by the sound of the waves.
Viola.
The word hung in the air, unfinished.
Yeah.
Viola answered softly. He slowly lifted his hand, gently tucking a curl behind her ear, his fingers brushing softly against her cheek. He spoke in a low voice, almost a whisper.
Love always finds a way, doesn't it?
Viola nodded faintly.
Yes, it does.
Viola's voice was thoughtful, almost distant.
Life will eventually become what we love.
Elias nodded, his gaze soft as it rested on Viola.
Yes, it will.
The night breeze was soft, the waves gently lapped the shore. The Milky Way shimmered above them, stars reflected in Viola's eyes, as if the heavens were pausing to watch them. Elias's hand found hers, his fingertips trembling slightly, as if afraid that letting go would mean losing something precious forever. His heated gaze lingered on her eyes, then her lips, and his low voice stirred something deep within her. Viola felt her heart pound, her cheeks burning. Drawn by an irresistible mutual force, Elias leaned in, his lips meeting hers in a tender, soft first kiss. For that suspended moment, the entire beach vanished, leaving only the two of them. Then Elias stopped for a second, his brow furrowed with sudden concern.
Is it okay?
He whispered.
Sure. It's okay.
Viola gazed at him gently, her voice soft but certain, her heart racing, her cheeks warm with a sudden, exhilarating heat. Elias kissed her again. It seemed to say 1,000 times I love you. Though he didn't speak the words, his lips and warm embrace said it all. Starlight shimmered on the water, their heartbeats blended with the rhythm of the waves. Her fingers traced his arm lightly, a quiet acknowledgement of the moment they were sharing. A moment later, the atmosphere was violently broken by the sound of staggering footsteps. David and a few other students stumbled toward them, clearly drunk, bottles in hand. He burst into manic applause upon seeing the scene.
Oh wow guys, stars, ocean, the perfect romantic movie, should I offer my blessing?
He wagged his finger wildly.
No, I just, simply, can't.
He shouted very loudly. The atmosphere instantly froze. Elias slowly stood up, his voice dangerously low.
David, you're drunk.
David scoffed.
I'm the drunk one, or are you two the ones whose heads have been turned? What a hypocrite.
He lunged forward, his shoulder narrowly missing Elias, who stepped back just in time. The tension snapped. Elias pointed at David, anger blazing in his eyes.
You better watch your mouth and keep your filthy words to yourself.
He instinctively shielded Viola with his body. Suddenly, David's fist swung out, connecting sharply with Elias's left cheek.
Okay, let my fist tell you what you've ruined.
Elias staggered back, a stinging pain washing over his cheek, but he clenched his jaw, refusing to back down. He countered with a punch to David's abdomen, sending him doubled over. They wrestled in the sand, fists and elbows flying, sand spraying around them. Viola cried out, rushing to pull them apart.
Stop! Stop!
Lisa and Malik ran over and finally managed to separate them. David, his face contorted with rage, shook off Malik's hand.
Forget it. Pointless.
He spun and disappeared into the darkness. Elias stood rigid, his face grim, saying nothing. The party was over. The night fell into a cold, suffocating silence, the echo of shock and fury hanging over the beach. Back in the dormitory, Viola and Lisa were whispering in the dark. Viola described the scene on the beach, her voice a mix of shyness and tender excitement.
Lisa, that was the first kiss I ever dreamed of. I think I might really be in love with Elias. If not for the chaos, it would have been the most perfect night. I know Viola, I know. You guys have this insane connection. It was so thrilling and romantic.
But Lisa's voice then dropped, tinged with anxiety.
If Elias leaves for America, you two will truly become like Altair and Vega. Jesus. What? America? Elias is leaving?
Viola was struck by the sudden information.
Why didn't I know anything about this? My mom mentioned it. His parents got new research positions at Yale, a huge opportunity, and they're moving before the school year starts. It's also great for his applications to the Ivy League. Malik said he'd miss his best friend.
Viola froze with shock. Her heart instantly emptied. Why didn't he tell me? And why did everyone else already know? If he's leaving, what did that kiss on the beach even mean? She tossed and turned that night, unable to sleep. Early the next morning, heart still pounding, Viola mustered her courage and sent Elias a message, asking to meet her on the beach. The sea breeze was gentle, and the sun was just rising, casting a pale golden light over the shore, but the warmth of the morning did nothing to ease the tension of Viola. Elias ran up happily, still wrapped in the memory of their kisses from last night.
Hi. Did you sleep well?
She stared at his still bruised face. The night of worry and sadness was instantly eclipsed by a sharp pang of concern.
I didn't. Did you? Does your face still hurt?
Oh, don't worry about this. It's a badge of honor for a man, isn't it?
Elias touched his cheek and grinned awkwardly. Viola let out a small, forced laugh, but her thoughts tumbled back to last night.
Right. I guess you'll just have to handle everything on your own soon. There won't be any reason to share anything with me at all.
Elias heard the accusation and the bitterness in her tone.
Hey Viola, what's wrong? You know I've always cared about you. I've never felt like this for anyone else.
I've thought about you too. I liked you, maybe more than I should have. But I guess I missed the important part where you were supposed to announce your major life changes before you decided to kiss me goodbye on the beach. I didn't even know you were moving across the ocean in a few days. I feel like a fool, thinking that kiss could be the beginning of something.
Viola spilled out all her feelings for once. Her voice sounded sad. Elias stared at her, wide-eyed, a swirl of complex emotions choking him. He couldn't clarify his thoughts or articulate his desperate feelings. He didn't even know how to clarify, but blurting out the worst possible defense.
It's not fair. David came all this way, and you let him get close to you, didn't you?
What does David have to do with this? You know perfectly well nothing happened between him and me. I can't believe you'd even think that.
Viola's eyes filled with tears, her voice rising in distress. Elias was genuinely stunned to see Viola so distraught. He opened his mouth but couldn't speak any single words.
I knew it, Elias. I knew it. You were only acting out of jealousy or pathetic competitiveness last night. Now I understand why I was the last to know. Why does your life have nothing to do with me?
No, Viola. It's not what you think. I can't change anything. I can't. I just don't want to.
Elias's eyes were brimming, but he couldn't find the words to confess everything he felt.
Stop, Elias. Yes, you can't. You can't trust me, and you literally don't like me. You just wanted me there at that moment. I know it.
Viola turned and walked away, the tears finally streaming down her face. Elias stood alone on the beach, replaying the painful scene. The farewell he had dreaded most had finally come. He had been terrified that telling her about America would shatter any possibility between them, so he foolishly clung to the hope that their connection could somehow survive. He never imagined they would part like this. He hated himself. Why did I have to mention David? I love Viola for me, not because of him. I was just jealous that David got close to her. I was just terrified of losing her. The pain of saying goodbye was unbearable. That day, they left the camp without a final glance, without a proper farewell. Viola only heard from Lisa that Elias had departed with his parents, and that he hadn't seemed happy at all that day. After settling in America, Elias often replayed those scenes on the beach in his mind, consumed by deep regret. On Viola's 17th birthday, he sent her a gift, a delicate gold seashell necklace, which opened to reveal a shimmering pearl, a tiny token of the heart he could no longer hold close. The card read, "Dearest Viola, happy 17th birthday. I hope this gift can replace that awful memory on the Dutch beach. In my heart, you'll always be the brilliant pearl. Missing you. Your Elias." Viola opened the box, gazed at the necklace and the card, and tears ran freely down her cheeks. In the end, she never replied. Her heart was too full, too fragile to find the words.